So we'll do field event, so we do field event at most improved, we'll do overall most improved, so event group most improved, and overall most improved, an event group MVP, and overall MVP, and then 2 other awards that we'll talk about. So if Coach, most improved, Coach Musam, what is it? Coach Moose wants to give the award.
All right, so for most improved for the jumps group, this award is going to, I'm just gonna call his name up. Jaden Little, come on up, please. All right, so I know Jaden is very excited about this, even if he tries to tell you he's not, he is. Jaden started the season by asking me if I thought he was going to jump over 5 meters. And I was like, yeah, I think you can do that. And he has well surpassed that. Jaden's PR is of 5.9 meters, which is a huge PR from when he was jumping at the end of last year to this year. So that's been really great to see. He's very focused. I can count on him to do what he needs to do. I think his favorite thing to say probably 100 times in practice is, "Coach," nonstop. But Jaden and I have a really good relationship. I'm glad he's part of our group. He's definitely taken on a little bit more of a leadership role this year, which has been great to see. And I'm looking forward to that continuing to improve as the years come. But yeah, overall, super proud of you and glad to have you be in my group.
All right, guys, so excellent job, Jaden. Most improved for our distance group, Coach Z will give that one away.
Nick Lozano.
All right, Adam Einhorn, come on up. The way that I always look at this award, because you can make an argument that the majority of our guys improved a great amount. I look at improvement in terms of the impact it has on varsity races, and Adam, when we take that into account, Adam was clearly the winner. He went from last year, I don't know if he ran a varsity race. If he did, he didn't run many of them, to he was a staple in my varsity lineup. It was basically the same process every week. I would find out what Luke and Adam wanted to run, and then I would fill in everybody else. And so Adam scored, as you saw, a ton of points. I think the majority of those points were scored this year. He went from being a pretty average 800-meter runner to being one of the better 800-meter runners at races. He factored into a lot of these varsity races. He ran the sectional, took a chance, went out really hard, which is what we talked about, took a gamble, and it didn't pay off that time, but it will, that experience will pay off in the future. I have no doubt that Adam, we're going to be talking about Adam next year too. He's going to do a lot of damage next year as a senior. Good job, Adam.
Okay, so most improved sprinter hurler. Sorry, you guys can tell like the options. There's so many kids deserving of awards, right? Like the options are, it's hard to pick. So I had to put it in my notes app so we wouldn't forget. The most improved sprinter hurler is Ryan Moy. I have some little stats for you here. So in 2022, Ryan's 100-meter dash time was 13:74. 200-meter dash time was 29:57, and 400 dash was 64:04. This season, he ran a 12:81 in the 100. That's about a second improvement. The 26:20 from the 29:52, which is crazy in the 200. And then he went down from a 64 to a 59 in the 400. So, I mean, stats alone show that Ryan should have won this award, but also he's probably one of the hardest working kids in the sprint group, and definitely deserves some recognition. So, congratulations, Ryan. So now our of the year award. So field event athlete of the year, Coach Randelich can give this one out.
Field event athlete of the year. That's going to be Evan. Let's go. Evan had another great year. He came out as a freshman, and I naturally saw his athleticism. Had a nice high jump season during COVID. Sophomore year came out, exceeded expectations, did a wonderful job there. Junior year, like I always tell him, at every meet, whenever he's tired or fatigued, just like use your athleticism, right? That's like my go-to line for him. And he did that not just in high jump, PRing, jumping 6'1", setting all those top 15 records for our high jump, but then going out into long jump, balling out there, going out into triple jump, dominating that, right? Like, it was just like all those field events, he continued to score points. He was a top 5 scorer for us this season with over 100 points, and this is no disrespect, he's a good sprinter, but like, those are all scored in jumping and field events. So just super, super impressive work. Kind of a clear-cut candidate for that, and we're super impressed with what he's done, and will continue to do for us next year.
Okay, next up is the Sprinter Hurdler of the Year. Probably to nobody's surprise, Malky Mohan wins this one. Come on up. Yeah. I think every single week, with the exception of one, Malky ran 100, maybe 2 100s, 400, and a 4x4. If you're not a distance runner, that's a pretty heavy workload. If you are a distance runner, you're crazy. But I think what can be taken away from that is that he was actually our second fastest 400-meter runner on the team indoor season, and then I think, through injury for the other athlete, but I also think this, no offense to the other guy, but I think this would have happened either way, that he outdoor just kind of surpassed everybody, ran his tail off, is a workhorse. Top scorer on the team, very reliable. I know he was hurting at times this season, and I don't know that because he told me. I know it just from, the experience of being a track coach. But he never let me know, and a lot of people did let me know that they were hurting, and he just wanted to race. And he'll be continuing his track career, which is only 2 years long here, but he'll be continuing it at North Central next year. So congratulations. Distance runner of the year.
All right, Luke Barham. So the numbers that Luke put up this year as a distance runner are unbelievable. I've been coaching distance now for 20 years, and just across the board, what he did he ran 1 400 and then all the way up the 800 and the mile. His times were phenomenal, especially because we really didn't have much of a track season last year or the year before. We didn't really have any. But obviously, as you saw, Luke qualified in the 800, which was a really exciting race. He ran the fastest 800 that he's run in his life at that race. But you know, any other year, I think we're talking about Luke as the MVP. David had an unbelievable year, and David was so impressive to watch. And David scored a ton of points for us. Luke did too. And we put Luke into a ton of high pressure situations. We basically would look at who the best distance runner was going to be at any race we went to in the outdoor season, and Luke wanted to race him. And I think that speaks a lot about his character and why he's had so much success. It wasn't about like what race can I win. It was about what race can I compete with the best guy in, and that brought a lot out of him. I think for sure there's a reason that he ran as fast as he could, because he wanted to compete against the best guys out there, and he did. And so I'm super excited about going down to Eastern this weekend and watching him race at State, and we're gonna get a whole other year with him. So congratulations, Luke.
This is sort of we would call it like, it's a person who's in their first year, doesn't have to be a freshman, but had an outstanding season. So I'll let Coach Zielinski talk about this.
All right, Jack Zielinski. Similar to what I said about Adam Einhorn, I think when we pick this one, we not only talk about just the presence on the team, but the impact that they're making on the varsity lineup. And it's rare for a freshman to score as many points as Jack did this year. He ran the 2 mile in basically every single invite, and he was willing. I actually gave him an option often. You want to get out of the 2 mile and run something else, and he liked running it, which is rare even for distance guys. The 2 mile is kind of a tough spot to fill, but Jack belonged. He didn't look overwhelmed. He ran the sectional. He looked great. I know he learned a lot from the older guys that he trained with, and with him and Michael both being freshmen and both running really well in that 3,200, the future is really bright. Good job, Jack.
All right. I was just checking out what I was saying earlier about making the Century Club. You got to start early, and I think Jack's off to a really good start, especially for, like Coach was saying, that being one event for most of those points. Okay. Next up is the most improved. This one is for, I'll give this one out. David Gutt, come on up. Most improved award, MVP, sometimes the top newcomer. Anytime there's like a program-wide award, it's usually a pretty debated award, right? But with David, every coach on the stage thought that he deserved this one. Last year, actually I'll even go back to when he was a freshman. I think David knew less about track than anyone else on the whole team. He just knew that he wanted to run, he wanted to be faster, okay? And this year, I mean, he was not very fast, I'll just be honest, as a freshman. No offense, but you were kind of slow. Last year we started to see some growth. I kind of got excited about some things, but I mean this year he did things that I did not expect him to do. Our fastest, I believe, ended up as our fastest 100, 200 times. And then just it was again, I think that I almost sort of, I'm not sure if I regret this or not, but he ran a ton of 400s for us, and I think that kind of hurt his, freshness. When you're a 100 dash sprinter, you gotta be fresh and you gotta be healthy. And I think he was always healthy, but I think tired, like your legs get a little bit heavy and things like that. So I'm excited next year. I'm not sure what events he'll do yet, but I know he's gonna get faster. And there's really not many more people in the sprint group that love track more than David, maybe as much, but not more than David. So congrats, buddy. Well done. Second to last, the Excellence Award. I'll let Coach D talk about this one.
All right.
So I'll just talk about what the award is. So we get our kind of saying here on the track program is earn your excellence. To me, that means that a lot of times, I mean, nobody in this room won every single race that they were in. We're always going to face people that are faster, stronger, throw farther, jump higher, whatever. What earn your excellence to me is that every one of our athletes has potential to be a better version of themselves, and we ask them to do that on a regular basis. So I think that this athlete, we try to pick somebody that is the epitome, that epitomizes that that attitude, that approach to things. And so, now I'll let Coach talk about who that was.
All right, Joe Suzeki. Joe is a 4-year track guy, and as Coach Spohr mentioned earlier, he started as a sprinter. He actually was a football player, and then when COVID hit and it rearranged the seasons, he was able to try cross country out. And you can tell right away he handled the distance really well. He made an impact for us right away. He ended up wanting to play football for one more year, and then had enough and came to cross country, which was awesome for us, and it was awesome for me personally. And then once he got to know the distance guys in the cross country program, I think he wanted to start training with us a little more, and we moved him away from the sprinters and into the distance group. And as Coach Spohr said, he still he did a lot of sprint events, but he also he ran the 4x8 for us pretty much in every single race. But this award is more than about, as Coach Spohr said, it's about character, it's about work ethic, and Joe is just a phenomenal young man. Really enjoyed working with him. He epitomizes like what I think, what I want a Stagg track athlete to be like. I'm very proud of him. I think I want my younger guys to look at him and to want to be like him, to approach the sport the way that he does it. So I'm going to miss him. He really earned this award. Congratulations, Joe.
There's two stories I like that kind of stand out. Joe, I think what stands out about him is just one thing of many, is just this kind of knowledge of the sport, knowing like what needs to happen, when it needs to happen. When we were at Richards again, he was asking me, so how did we do field events? Did we do what we needed to do? And just that kind of awareness is, you don't really get that very often in track. The other story I'll tell quick was just the one that I appreciate about Luke, who emailed Coach Zielinski to be in the fast heat at the Sandberg Mile, which is this elite race that all the top milers run in the area. And a lot of times they'll their coach will let guys from other schools into their faster heat just because they kind of anticipate what their times will be even if they haven't run them. Well, Luke was supposed to run the mile at our meet that got rained out before he ran it, so we didn't have a fast time. So for a guy to email about fudging a time so that he could be in a fast heat and run against like top dudes in the state, that's awesome. And I use that story with some of our athletes to talk about like how to approach the sport and how you shouldn't be intimidated by running against these guys. You should want to do it and what that brings out of you. So good job to our award winners. And then last, the mystery's kind of gone, but here, David Masitis, our team you get this plaque, but also there's the athletic department's orders a really nice plaque. It has this picture of Amos Stagg on it, and it says MVP, so it's just not in yet, but I'll get it to you next week, okay? So I'll say a little bit, and then Coach Guido's gonna also say a few things, but just about the event specifically. So I'll just talk about David. I think what I said to Coach was, when we were kind of going back and forth about what event he should do at a meet was, maybe it's bad, but a lot of times I never question how you're going to use an athlete in a meet, but he's so good at so many things. I'm very interested to see what events he's going to run each week, and I also have to say, I have an opinion about what that should be. We used him obviously in both hurdles. I used him in the 4x4, very versatile. I think he had our fastest 200 time for a long time. If he still does, and I know him and David Gutt are neck and neck with that. But, and the best part about it is just that he's a really nice kid, and he's a fun kid to be around. So that's what I'll say about David, and then I'll let Coach Guido finish up.
Yeah, it was really exciting to be able to give this award to David this year. He obviously, from a points perspective, stood apart from a lot of his teammates, but really I think the most impressive thing about David is his approach to the season and to the sport, and he has really come a long way. He was always a good hurdler, but this year there was something special right from the start, and it was fun to watch. And I think after his first race, after I saw his time in the indoor season on a relatively crappy track, I saw his time and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think we're going places this year. And just to see his focus and his determination and his therapy, he's doing what he needs to do, not just on the track, but off the track as well, to really make the difference. And that difference is shown. And he had an outstanding weekend last week, at sectionals, had 2 enormous PRs, both of which qualified him for the state meet, and that was exciting, and that was ultimately what we were working for. But more important than those awesome times was just the fact that this kid got to see what it's like when you really put your heart and soul into your sport, what you can get out of it. And I just applaud him for all of his efforts this year and for everything that he's accomplished. And he's only a junior, so we're hoping to have a good weekend down at state this year, or this Saturday, Friday and Saturday, and then we'll have a whole nother year with them. So congrats, David.
Okay, I think that is it for the awards. There's 2 people I'd like to thank. One is a group of people, that's the parents. Thank you guys, as Coach P said, about how basically difficult it is to coach athletes. I hope that you understand how much we appreciate you and how much I hope that, like Coach was saying, someday at least, if not today, then someday your athlete will appreciate it as well. It is a long season. We start in January, and most of the guys were still going up to last week. So it's a long season, it's a grind, it's a lot of hours, and we appreciate you, and thank you for coming today as well to support your son. And last, you may have seen him running around with the camera. My guy Mo here. I'll be crystal clear with you, Mo is not our team manager, but he is found a passion in taking photos. All right, so he's found a passion in taking photos for us, and he's the whole reason that we have all these pictures. So literally, if you want to check out any of the pictures that he's taken all season, just go to Stagg TF Boys Team Meet Photos. Take a look. I mean, I'll just click on this one as an example, but these are all him, all right? And this is in between doing events himself. He jumps, he runs, and he takes pictures. Good job.
Okay, I just got one thing to say to the athletes, all right? Gentlemen, I don't know, and this is for freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, thank you, good luck, goodbye. Everybody else, we have a chance to be really, really good next year. This junior class, between Evan, David, Luke, Terry, just in terms of like the damage we did with those 4 guys at our conference meet, we can be very, very good. We need some guys to step up. So track cannot only be like a 3-month sport, guys. We gotta get to work. There's a track camp. I don't know if Coach mentioned it. There we go. There's a track camp for everyone who's basically not a distance guy. There's a cross-country camp for the distance guys. Let's get involved, all right? Let's get out, let's work hard, let's show up in January in shape instead of showing up in January and then taking January and February to get in shape. All right, we should be excited for what can happen next year. We're going to do some great things, but you got to put in the work. All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Good morning. Just to echo Coach Zielinski, this was our best year with me as the head coach. Next year is going to be better, but that's dependent on you guys. But also, I would tell you this: we can't continue to rely on distance and field events. We need sprinters. So if you are a Stagg student, you have friends, we need your help to recruit. Okay. Then this information about how to sign up for our summer camp, stagtf.com. It's the first page when you get there. And then I just want to plug our summer meet. This is open to everybody, all ages 2 and above. So if you're interested, if you got a little one at home that wants to come run, it's a lot of fun. This will be the 4th time we do it. We have had some adults run, so if you're interested or throw or whatever, jump, come on out. There's no age limit. It's a great meet. All right, and then last, and certainly not least, our very own coach, so one time I forgot to change the date. Our very own Coach Randelich has created a video for us, a little season